Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing
Yay.
today on this nice, bright, sunshiny day?
Doing so good. It is the week before Thanksgiving,
Yes, it is.
and it's the first of several holiday family gatherings that we can
Yeah.
anticipate.
Yeah, that's right. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. And so I know a lot of people are maybe dreading the reunion more than anticipating the pie.
Well, yeah, and that's a tough one for me because, man, I love pumpkin pie.
I know, and I love family and holidays, but I think for this episode,
Yeah.
why don't we start with a song or two? I know you love when I sing.
I think that's a big reason probably why people are tuning in, to be honest with you.
Okay, since this is the holiday edition, I will start with,
Okay.
"Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but that's nothing compared to the storm that's happening inside."
That's right. That's right. I like the words to that a little better. That's right.
Or there's
Yeah.
no place like home for the holidays.
You can say that again.
Where everybody is on edge.
Oh, wow.
Do you see a theme here?
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
We are going to talk about the holidays and how we might go into them understanding that there might be a little tension. In fact, I went to a class last week.
Right.
It was called Surviving the Holidays with the Enneagram. Now, why do you think there's a lot of focus on the potential disaster of family gatherings?
I think that's a universal conversation that you can have with anyone. I guess that's what makes it universal. Yeah. And people would agree that there are certain scenarios, depending upon where you're going, either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and who all is going to be there with in-laws and outlaws.
In-laws and outlaws,
As
and everything
to-
in between.
Yeah, as to what you
Steps
can
and
expect.
X's and
Yes.
some of these family gatherings include, people from that used to be family, but they're not, but we all still get together.
Sure.
And I love that. I love
Yeah.
that love is extended. But let me tell you, I put up this picture on Instagram and the socials last week, and it was just one of those old traditional, like a holiday setting where the mom and dad were looking and the two kids, it was like, one of those old-fashioned ones, and the kids were watching Grandma bake a pie, and the caption said, and it was the grandmother speaking, it said, "It's just like your mother's pie, honey, only edible."
Ooh. And there we have it.
Yeah, so raise your
And
hand.
then the kids go home and say, Grandma said.
Grandma, and they will, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But I bet lots of us have a situation where there's just a family member that has a way of hitting a nerve every time they open their mouth, if you let it, right?
Right, absolutely. That's why this subject of surviving the holidays is a popular one.
Yeah, like, okay, so your father-in-law comes and he says, "Oh, I like what you've done with the house. Too bad you didn't have time to do the yard."
Ba-boom. Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually...
And there's also people that come, that little joke style you told just there that's also a put down.
It's
also
a backhanded compliment is what I call
yeah,
it.
that's what it is. There are also people, of course, every family has them that has that kind of also humor, what they think is humor.
I know.
And they're irritating.
It's what my mom calls, I've said this before, bully teasing.
Well, yeah, that's really bad.
Oh, sarcasm.
Then there's people that are just pure corn.
Well, corn is different.
It's like, oh, please,
It's
please
like,
stop.
Oh, boy,
Yeah.
here it comes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I put this question out on one of the pages that I follow, an Enneagram page, and just asked, did anybody have these situations where people maybe gave you a backhanded compliment, and what might they have been? And I got so many.
I can imagine.
It was disturbing and hilarious, but I loved this one. I mean, I didn't love it. I just thought it was truly what I'm or part of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are just, these are minor little incidences. We're going to get into the bigger picture, but this one said, "Oh, it's probably a good thing that you don't worry about keeping the house clean with all these children."
Ow.
Ow.
And these are real responses from people.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Right. This has actually been said.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
But anyway, what we're going to talk about, instead of focusing on each individual Enneagram type and how they might handle certain situations, I want to talk about a subject that we have talked about in the past, but I kind of want to draw it out a little bit. And that is Eckhart Tolle, and this comes from his book, A New Earth. Actually, it may be from The Power of Now. It might be from The Power of Now. I believe it is. And then he talked about it again in A New Earth. But it's what he refers to as the pain body. The pain body.
Yeah, I love that.
And so I
love it.
You can read a lot about it, but in a nutshell, what I would say is it's an accumulation in the mind and body of emotional pain. So what happens is every emotional pain that you experience anytime, like things that you have not dealt with, it's the residual from the past, from what's going on currently. It merges in your mind and it all becomes like it's this one, if you could maybe picture it as a little gremlin that lives inside of all of us. And we all get triggered by past events at certain times, but some seem to carry this accumulation of pain to where when you encounter this pain body, you know, you're not even speaking to the person.
Right.
You are speaking to this pain body. And I keep saying it over and over because I want you to get this visual of there's this little entity that lives inside and it is its own being. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and it has its own voice. It's a voice that you're hearing. In other words, when you are in the situation, I know we'll talk more about observing that pain body, but when you're in different situations, you always have voices in your head. You have things that are going through your mind. And so when you're beginning to question whose voice is that,
Yes.
the pain body has its own voice.
Oh, yes. And different situations will bring it to the surface. That's why family gatherings are a breeding ground for the pain body, because you're bringing all the past experiences that were, you know, it may have been each or several individuals who brought pain into your life, pain and suffering. You may have had a really difficult childhood, and it wasn't just one person that you experienced it with. So when you get this collection of family history, it can really activate this unresolved pain from the past.
Yeah, and not only that, the family consists of those in your tribe that knows everything about your past.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if I'm at work or hanging out at the soccer field with other parents or whatever, they don't know your past. They don't know the things that you grew up with that are that accumulation, if you will. But family members, they know everything that goes all the way back into that history, and therefore they know things about you that no one else knows. Yeah.
And they know how to push your buttons.
They know. Some do.
Some do.
Some are experts, actually. Expert button pushers. Yeah. And you know what's weird about that, Danae, is you can be the kind of person that life is, you know, mostly all good in the sense of you get along with just about everybody in your particular universe, but there's this one particular person that you have in your life that you may or may not see that often, and they have that unique ability to push your buttons like no one else.
Like no one else.
And typically that's what the holidays, why I think people dread the holidays, is because if you get enough people that know enough about you all together in one place at one time, the odds are that person's going to be there.
Yes. And so that's what I want to talk about and how we can address this before everybody gets around the pumpkin pie. Because really what I hope is that we have a pain-free holiday and that most families just get together and play games and have fun. But for those of you that really struggle with this issue, I want to tell you possibly some ways to diffuse the situation. But what I want to do for this episode is just a little twist, like I said, not deal with our individual ways of reacting, but let's assume that the people that are listening are are living from their highest consciousness, that they are at their highest level of their particular number, and they live life, very smooth, know how to interact. What I want to talk about is, how do you react when another person's pain body steps into the room?
Right. How do you deal with that?
How do you deal with that? I have 3 magic words that I'll say at the very end.
Excellent.
And
I love magic words.
They are there. It's like a ninja move.
I like that.
Yes, and nobody knows. And it's like, wow, how did that happen? But let's talk about what the pain body needs. So, again, assuming this is an individual little character that lives inside.
How does it stay active and alive? How does it survive?
Well, how do you stay active and alive?
Well, for me, the number one thing is I have to always have something to eat.
That's the answer.
I'm a 9, so I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is, hey, let's have a snack.
Well, the pain body is like, I want all the snacks.
Yeah.
Feed me everything.
So it needs to be fed.
It needs to be fed. Now, here's the thing. The pain body can only feed on pain. It cannot live. It cannot survive on joy. It finds it quite indigestible.
Oh, I like that.
I love that.
Indigestible.
I stole that from Eckhart. Pain can only feed on pain. Pain cannot feed on joy. It finds it quite indigestible.
Wow.
Pretty good for a Thanksgiving motto.
Wow, that is, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, once that pain body comes alive, what it wants, whether you're giving it an actual truth or pure logic, it doesn't hear that. It just says, feed me. Give me anything to engage my pain.
Right. And no matter what you say, that pain body just wants you to say something, just wants you to come back and feed it, if you will, to keep it going. And nothing you can say when someone's, and we'll get to the fact that we all have a pain body.
We do, but
we're not going to get there. But right now, if you're talking with someone as the one who's observing someone else's pain body, it won't matter what logic you use. It's like when we talk about people that get emotional, logic goes out the window. That's the way it is with the pain body. It won't matter what you are trying to say logically to a pain body. It's a pain body because it's not thinking from logic.
That's exactly the point. And it makes absolutely no sense. It's like saying, oh, it's a beautiful sunny day, when there's not a cloud in the sky. And the pain body gets activated by some memory, some emotional pain that's never been dealt with, and goes, well, I know it's going to rain.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, there's not a cloud in the sky.
Right.
And they cannot hear that. All they attach to is, the emotion that was never dealt with, that who knows what it came from, but they live in a cloudy, gray, sad world. And all they want you to do is to say, oh, I don't know how you could think that it's a sunny day. And then the pain body says, thank you very much. I'll have another slice of pain pie.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And of course, the things that get to us are a whole lot more than the weather, right?
Oh.
I mean, the things that are getting to us. And again, if we had any room full of people, we could go around in a circle, and everyone in the circle is going to name another person who has that pain body. And the thing about it that I think you're getting to also is that there are specific pain bodies that activate my pain body.
Yes. And then you can get into a pain body war where no one has a chance of walking away unscathed.
No. We end up with a food fight.
Yes. Okay, I don't know that I should say this, but And again, this has nothing
It's
to do.
okay, you're a 7.
Well, it has nothing to do with any particular number.
You're now off the subject. I like this.
No, you know what I'm talking about. Saturday Night
What's that?
Live.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Rachel
Yes.
Dretch.
Yeah, Dretch. Yeah.
When she had this character called Debbie Downer.
Debbie Downer. Wah,
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Everything she said.
Yes.
And it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Because one episode they were in Disney World.
Yeah.
I mean, the happiest place on earth is what it's called. And every positive comment somebody said about what they were experiencing that day, she came back with, well, it's official.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
I have such and such or this and this. Yeah.
Yes. And so, and again, that's a ridiculous thing. These backhanded comments, these are just rude. But it's those really hard, painful past situations that I'm talking about, that the only way you can diffuse, and maybe just momentarily, you are not going to solve, because this person who carries this pain body has emotional, negative energy that they've been carrying for years. It's up to them. You cannot fix it for them.
Exactly. It's like when people listening have had this experience with the Enneagram itself. How do I get someone else? How do I get my spouse, my friend, my family, my kid, blah, 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 to read about the Enneagram, to listen to this? This material is so great. How do I get them to do that?
Right.
Well, you don't.
You
don't.
Even though you can see, and you don't have to be an expert in the Enneagram to see that some people are operating at almost, well, the very lowest level would be pathological.
Right.
And
right.
that's dangerous.
Yeah.
But you can observe that.
Sure.
People know when people are acting from that level.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they get a little bit better, they're still operating from an unhealthy level, and you know it. It's obvious.
But this is what we've talked about in past podcasts.
Yes.
If in a relationship you're able to see the why of acting out, you become more empathetic and sympathetic to what's going on rather than reactional.
Right.
And this is the power of Enneagram, or the power of observation with anything. As the pain body manifests itself in our lower, unhealthy realms of our number in different ways,
That's right?
Then we become better and better at observing that, and I can be more empathetic to that person that's good at pushing my numbers, because I'm now beginning to question what pain body inside of me is so reactional to that.
Oh,
yeah.
Good point. Yes. And for me, I used to get really frustrated when people who were teaching any spiritual tool would say, well, everything just boils down to, you must be present. Just be in the moment. Be present. Well, that's always hard for me, because I'm very future oriented. I am thinking about what's going to come after the dessert. Are we going to play games? And what are we going to do later? But I can tell you, after much study and self-reflection, it is totally about being present. And for this situation in particular, that's what happens, is we lose presence.
Right.
The pain body absolutely is not living in this moment.
Right.
They've gone way into an emotional past. And so when the situation arises, and it will, maybe not at the holiday gathering, but this happens in life. If you are in any kind of relationship, you are going to run into people with heavy pain bodies.
Sure.
And so I'm going to share with you my magic words.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right?
We're already to the magic words?
We are to the magic words. We decide, be in the present. Don't feed the pain body. Pain body can't live on pain. It can't live on joy. We've already said all that. I'm reiterating. But now, drum roll.
Okay.
My magic words are, do not engage.
Ah, yes. A great mantra for pain body experiences.
Do not engage.
Do not engage, because engagement is fuel for the fire.
Absolutely. And that is just the simplest little trick.
It's a simple trick, Except that the person who's pushing my buttons is the one that has engaged my pain body. So my first reaction is to react, not to step back and not engage, because my button gets pushed. My self instinct is to absolutely engage. Oh, really? You know, blah, blah, blah. You said that. Well, I'll counter it with this.
Because
so
you
that's
feel
a
the
challenge. Yeah.
The ego feels the need to defend itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. You say
Sucker.
something critical of me, I'm going to get you back. You say something about one of my kids or my lifestyle or whatever it is, there's a million ways to come in and activate those pain bodies. The real kicker that you're talking about is, how do I respond? How do I take that momentary breath and decide not to engage?
Well,
and you get better at it. I mean, look, you're going to fail in life time and time again in different ways over different things, but the key is to recognize why you did, when you did, and you'll find over time you just get better and better at things that you are practicing with intent.
yes, and here's another magic bullet. It only takes one person. It only takes one person to be aware and stop this chain reaction.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's what it becomes. It becomes a chain reaction. So even what you were saying, you yourself may feel the emotion of past hurt. But in that one moment of awareness, you can decide to step away from the drama, maybe literally step away. Take a breath and do not engage. Do not feed the pain body. Feed yourself some pie.
There you go. I like that.
Feed your family some love. And find that
Feed
peace.
your pie hole, not theirs.
There we go. The pain body pie hole.
Yep.
It's a never-ending pit.
Exactly.
So
It's a black hole.
It is.
And that's why it's futile to engage it. And I think also going into the holidays, as we become intent on observing, which you have been talking about this whole podcast, but as we become intent on the front end, before we even get into these situations, even at home with your own family, the stress of, we've got to get ready for a lot of company if we're the host,
right?
Or we're going to go somewhere and maybe we've got kids or whatever, and we're getting ready to go to that place, and we begin to feel those stresses building up inside of us, or we pay attention and notice that they are building up inside of us. Take those deep breaths and go into whatever it is with the intent to be the observer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bingo. Okay.
I like this.
I got to get to the grocery store so I can get my ingredients for this pie that we're going to make.
Yep. And I'm going to go to the workout room later today so I can prepare myself to consume it.
Proactively. That's very good.
We are a great team.
We are. I hope you guys really have none of these issues, that it's a wonderful holiday for everybody. Think joy, live joy, and most of all, I hope you get to know the true joy of who you are by loving your number. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.